Initially, I noticed nothing, but over the next few hours, I kept smelling what I thought were rotting oranges. At the time, it smelled very strong, like when you have a bag of fruit in your refrigerator and open it and find them green and moldy. I'm sure it was around for a few hours. I don't know how to describe it, but you could feel it. I kept hearing things, first on one side, then on the other, down below me in the creeks. I just sat there with my single mantle Coleman lantern on, listening. I kept trying to rationalize it, but the experience was shocking, very hard to deal with in my mind. I decided to build a fire, and then I felt safe. At about 1 a.m., I found myself drifting off to sleep. My lantern was almost out of fuel, so I filled it up and put it back in my ground cloth and slept until the first light. I remember thinking the birds were a good sign that it moved on. When I woke, the lantern was still burning, which helped me realize it wasn't just a bad dream. All I could think about was getting so far away from there as fast as possible. I spent about half an hour looking for tracks, but all I could find were some splashed areas near the creek and some small plants that had been pulled up and put down on a stump there that weren't there the day before. All I can say about a description is that it weighs a lot more than I do, and it appeared black. Although I never put my light directly on it, it was gone from view in under 10 seconds. In retrospect, I realized I should have stayed around the next day and looked for physical evidence, but the only thing I could think of was getting out of there. That evening, the people, they were on horseback by the way, who had gone by just prior in the scream the night before, came by going the other way, and I asked them if they heard of the thing and what they thought it was. These people worked cows in that area for years. After a short discussion about the sound I'd heard and speculation of whether I could have been a fisher, weasel-like animal with dark fur, the older man in the group suggested that it might have just been a Bigfoot. I let him bring up the subject. When I got back to town, I went to the Forest Service Station office, and man, with a backpack was filing a report about how half of his food vanished from the tree in the middle of the night. He said his food was 7 feet off the ground or higher. He was about 6 feet tall. He tied 2 bags of food to the one side of his bear rope, with the parachute cord and counterbalance on the other side with a piece of wood of the equal weight. He put a 30-gallon trash bag over the food about 1 a.m. that night, the night after my adventure, because it started raining. When he got up, the plastic bag had been stretched apart and one bag of food was gone. Nothing was ripped, chewed, shredded, or torn, and the other half was still in the tree. I've yet to meet a bear that exhibited such traits. I mentioned the word Sasquatch, and all four Forest Service members in the room went silent and looked around at each other. One man said it must have been a marmot, like a rat.